Did you see that bubble just come out of my mouth? That was crazy. I need to drink some water. I'm like starting to foam at the mouth. Okay, what else is there? Hey YouTube, it is me, Paul. I just wanted to share a quick video of the setup that we had tonight. So tonight we are back at Ouachita Baptist University, a university pretty close to where I live. And what we were doing was filming a reveal video for an event called Tiger Tunes. Tiger Tunes is an event they have here on campus where the sororities and fraternities compete in a musical show where they sing and dance and make up new lyrics dependent on a specific theme. So tonight we were filming each club reveal what their theme was for this year. And so it was super simple. We, for those club reveals, we just set up a single camera and said, you have this space to work in, go for it. So we didn't get super fancy with it, filming like miniature short films for everyone. We did it really simple. But also what we did in this location right here was film some talking heads, some welcomes and some thank yous of some of the student leaders. What we did was we have 2 camera setup. We have a camera, which is the great FX6, and then B camera was right over here, which was the A7S3, but we're filming on it right now, so you don't see it. But it was right here. And I changed it up a little bit on a camera on the FX6. I actually did an 85mm lens just to get as much compression and background blur in this room. We are currently in the Performing Arts Center, and so the background was these red theater seats, so we wanted to blur that out as much as possible. And then on B camera, we tried to go wide. So we tried initially to do a 35 on a slider. I thought that that would be really cool, but just didn't have the time to really dial it in to make it look like what I was visualizing in my head. And so we ended up switching. We just threw on a 50mm and brought it in a little bit closer and still had a 2-shot the whole time. And I was racking focus between the 2 people. But so that's camera setup. We also have the OC Megamon director's monitor that we have connected to the A camera, so you can see a little bit of what that looks like. For lighting, what we have is an 8x8 frame with a diffusion grid cloth. I think this is a silk maybe. I'm not sure of all the proper terminology. For the key light, we've got the Aputure 600D, which is way overpowered for what we actually needed in this scenario. I think for the majority of the talking heads, we were at like 2 or 3%. And then for the club portion, since we were shooting much wider, we did crank that, I think, to 34%. Way overpowered for what we actually needed, but it's always good to have more power than what you think you might need. So the reason that we had to have the key light on such a low power setting, it was like 2 to 3% for these talking head portions, was the house lights in this room are actually really dim. So to be able to get the right contrast and balance of key light and background light, we had to dim down the key light a lot. And then both cameras we were shooting at f1.8, which made it a little bit difficult focusing with 2 people on screen, but I think it worked. But any brighter on the key light, the whole background would have been just completely black. One other little hack that we did was the shadow side of the face. Even with an 8x8 diffusion frame, we weren't able to wrap the light as much as I wanted across the other side of the face. And of course, I didn't bring any sort of bounce or V-flat or anything. And so I just mounted my octagonal softbox on this side. It's on the light, but the light is not powered on, but we just used this white fabric to give a little bit of fill on the shadow side of the face. And so that was just a really quick little dirty hack to try and make it work. For audio, for all of the talking head portions, we use the Rode NT5. And this is not the NT-G5, which is more centered towards video purposes. This is the NT5. I really like it. It's got a really nice, open, clean sound, and it's not too boomy like a lot of shotgun mics are. But yeah, I've got it boomed over. We use this for the talking head portions. And then for the club portions, since we had 2, 3, sometimes 5 people that were in frame, we actually used 2 sets of the Pico wireless mics, which I'm using right now. I love these things. They're so tiny. You can clip them anywhere. They sound great. They're easy to use. Yeah, they're great. So we've got also a backlight. This is just like the cheapest off-brand Chinese tube light. It's RGB. I use it all the time just because I don't really care if it gets beat up because it was super cheap. But we've got it pretty close color matched to the house lighting in the background, around 3000, 3200 Kelvin. And it's super light and easy to boom over. I use that all the time. So for audio recording, we use the Zoom F6. I use this all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny setup or a huge setup. I will always use the Zoom F6 because it's got the 32-bit internal audio recording so that I really don't have to worry about the audio gain staging. It's got 6 inputs, so I was able to run 4 of the Pico mics plus the boom mic and have an extra input. It is probably my favorite piece of equipment on this stage right now. It saved me so many times when I thought there would be terrible audio, and it saved me because of that 32-bit float. Well, that's it, yeah. Super simple setup. I say super simple. There's a lot of different pieces, but what we actually filmed today was pretty simple. But we use all of these different pieces of equipment to try and make the production value as high as possible with the budget that we're given. And so I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Peace.